Alright, what I want to show you in this video is these edge highlights, kind of these rims of light coming across there. And how we're going to do that is we are going to choose our ellipse tool again, and I'm going to just click and try to match this curve here if I can. Just want to try to get, if we can. Might need to rotate it a little bit. Just want to try to get the same kind of look, same curve. Okay. So once I have that drawn, I'll come over here and name it. And I'm going to call this my edge. Number 2. We'll select it. Go Command T. And we'll try to just alter it a little bit to get it to fit a little bit closer. I'm just holding down Command. Command allows me to just move that little corner. Alright, I think I've got it. So there's my path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my pen tool, and I'm just going to put a couple points here because I want this curve or this arc to kind of go around, so I'll have some area to erase. Holding down Command, I'm going to select that line segment. I'm going to click off of it, select that line segment, hit delete. That opens up my path. And I'll just select this point and hit delete. And now I have kind of the path of the arc that I want to stroke or put a stroke on to get this edge highlight. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to name this edge highlight number 2. And then I need to choose my brush tool. So we'll go over here, click on the brush tool, and now I want to choose a brush. And when you're in the brush tool, you can just hold down Control, or the right key, sorry, Control or the right key, brings up your little brush preset panel. And I think I'll choose one of these soft round brushes. Double click on that, that gives us the brush, and now I just need to resize it. We'll look up here and make sure the opacity is 100%. And then I'm just going to resize. And when I resize, the quickest way to resize is use your modifier keys. So Control Option will change the size if we drag right and left, and if we hold down Control Option and drag them up and down, we can control the softness, and it gives you a little bit of a display here of the size that you're making the brush. And so I just want kind of a small little stroke that when that brush strokes around there, it's going to give me a little highlight just like down here. Okay? So I have my brush, it's set on normal. Now I'm going to hold down Option and just sample some of this green color. And I want this highlight to be kind of bright, so I'm just going to, we'll click in here, and I'm going to go ahead and add this to my swatches so that I'll have it. Call this highlight. Say OK, and that adds this to my swatches. Alright, so I've got my brush and I've got my color. Now all I have to do is stroke this path with this brush. And all we have to do that is we can come over here and right click. You'll see this dialog box pop up and it says stroke path. And what do we want to stroke it with? We want to stroke it with the brush. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and simulate pressure. That will allow my stroke to go from thin to thick to thin. I'll say OK, and there's my stroke. And all I have to do is show it. And you'll see how it goes from thin to thick to thin. And then I will just create a layer mask. Remember layer masks. Most of you know layer masks. And if I paint with black, I can hide some of this here that I don't want. I think I'm going to paint. Let's see, do I want to paint? Yeah, I'm going to paint right over here to get rid of some of that and just zoom in so you can get really tight on it and see what you're doing. And I think that's good over here. We want it to curve around, so we'll just get rid of that, make sure that's okay. And you can play with the opacity, you can play with the blending mode. Let's just see what some blending modes do. So I'm going to hit M to make sure I'm on my marquee tool, and I'm just going to shift plus to toggle through all the blending modes. There's a dark blending mode, there's lighten, screen, that's kind of a soft one, so I'm going to leave it on linear color. And that's it. That's how we generate our highlights, and if it's too hot, we could always dial the opacity back, and we could either use the sliders or we could just hit the number keys. And I think I am going to leave it, turn it back to, we want it there but not there, so how about 50%. Alright, try that out and see if it works on some of your other edges.